So, in my apparent new trend of being contrary to popular Pikmin beliefs, I want to have a quick discussion about the main space dog of the hour, Ochi. See, the more we find out about the game, and especially with the demo that we've been able to play for a little while now, the more we've learned about just how powerful and versatile Ochi is. And some people are worried that this is going to end up being less of a Pikmin game and more of an Ochi game where you can also grow Pikmin on the side if you feel like it. However, I don't think things are quite as bad as some people might be worrying about. A lot of people are focusing just on what Ochi can and cannot do, and I don't think they're really taking into account the bigger picture here. And I will admit, Ochi does seem to be incredibly versatile. To properly lay out the issue that people are worried about, we already know from the demo and trailers that Ochi can do a lot of things. Not only is he essentially your second captain like in Pikmin 2, but he can also swim on water and apparently be upgraded to swim underwater as well. He can be made immune to hazards like poison and fire, and probably has unconfirmed immunities like electricity. And he can also be sent to attack enemies, and he can even lift objects with the strength of dozens of Pikmin at once, which we know can also be upgraded over time, which I think has a cap of around 100. So in many ways, you might look at that and go, well wait, if he's basically immune to all hazards and has every Pikmin ability, then what's the point of even having Pikmin in your party? And well, my answer is that there's still a lot of power in numbers. For example, some people have looked at the fact that he has the strength of over 10 Pikmin and gone, well that basically invalidates purple Pikmin. But the strength of purple Pikmin isn't just that they're 10 times stronger than a normal Pikmin. If all that was that you had one purple Pikmin in your party, that wouldn't exactly be the powerhouse that people make out purples to be. It's more that they're 10 times stronger, and you can have dozens of them in your party at once. For example, if you bring just 10 purples with you in your adventures, that means that while you're out finding treasure, you can use them to carry back stuff that would have taken 100 Pikmin to carry back all of those objects, while still retaining 90% of your army. And you could theoretically carry back up to 10 different objects while doing that. And then you could continue exploring and multitasking with the other 90 Pikmin in your party as well. And really, that's the core of Ochi's weakness. At the end of the day, Ochi is only one space dog. He may be able to do a lot on his own, but ironically enough, he's so useful that actually picking what to use him for may be a difficult choice at times. For example, you might be able to use him to knock down an electric fence without needing yellow Pikmin. But if you do that, that means you won't have access to Ochi and his suite of abilities for the entire time that he's working on that wall. And if you don't plan on multitasking while that's happening, well then, as the game would put it, your Dandori skills are suffering. And it's the same with most other things that you might use him for. Want to have him carry back a heavy object instead of using lots of Pikmin? Okay, sure, you can do that, but now you can't use him until he gets back from the ship. Want to have him gather raw materials for things like bridges and potions? I mean, I'm almost certain that you get it done way faster if you use actual Pikmin for that job, since he can still only carry back one item at a time as far as we know. So yeah, I'm sure he's going to be an extremely powerful asset, and he'll be very useful in a lot of ways, but he is still ultimately a resource, and he is only one resource, and you still have to manage that resource along with your other resources like your other Pikmin if you want to maximize your Dandori skills. I'm willing to bet that it will be possible to do Ochi-only runs, or at the very least he'll be extremely useful for minimum Pikmin challenges, which I think could actually be really fun to see. But if you don't feel like wasting half of every day waiting for Ochi to finish whatever task you set him to, you're going to need to use him in tandem with the rest of your Pikmin if you want to actually get the job done with any amount of haste. Not to mention that an extremely popular thing for games like this to do is to give you a very powerful tool and then take it away from you to challenge you to work without it. I mean, Nintendo does this all the time. They introduce Flood to help you with platforming in Mario Sunshine, and then have levels where Flood gets taken away from you, and you have to go back to more normal platforming long after you've gotten used to using things like the hover nozzle to save yourself from a bad jump. In Mario Odyssey, they give you Cappy, which can do so so many things, from capturing various enemies to give you new abilities, to giving you extra jumps and dashes and whatnot. And then at the start of the Lost Kingdom, he gets stolen away, and you have to live without him for a bit. I mean, hell, in Tears of the Kingdom, they don't just let you spawn in Zonai contraptions or use champion abilities while in shrines, so even there they limit your abilities in certain areas of the game. Nintendo loves taking away your toys after you've gotten used to using them, just to see how you'll handle it. I mean, one of the best parts of Breath of the Wild that everybody loved was Eventide Island, because it took away all of your gear. So, I'm actually going to make a quick prediction here. I'm willing to bet that somewhere around when you get close to maxing out Ochi's upgrades, somewhere around when you're feeling nice and comfy in the story and you've got a good handle on things, bam! They're going to take away Ochi from you. Just like how in Pikmin 3, they have Louie steal all your built-up juice, so that you suddenly feel that same panic to try and find more fruit so that you can keep playing, just like you might have felt in the early parts of the game. I mean, hell, I'm willing to even put down money that it'll probably be Louie once again that kidnaps Ochi from you. Hell, maybe it's even a Pikmin hybrid Louie that is somehow even more selfish and greedy, if that's even possible. And then you gotta go through some parts of the game, maybe even multiple days if they feel particularly mean, without your trusty space dog by your side. You might even have a Dandori battle with Olimar in that state, and that could actually be really interesting, especially if he still gets to keep Moss while you're missing Ochi, so that you have to try and win the fight with a massive disadvantage. So yeah, I think that about wraps up what I wanted to say about this. As usual, I'm always happy to continue the conversation in the comments down below, so feel free to let me know what you think. Do you think that Ochi will be too overpowered like Purples were in Pikmin 2? Or do you agree that there are some inherent downsides to the idea that he is still just a single unit while your Pikmin are strong in numbers? And what do you think about my theory that Ochi will be taken away from you at some point during the game's story? Like, come on, I gotta be right about that. Nintendo's been doing this move basically all the time in most of their major releases. But yeah, while you're sharing your thoughts, make sure to leave me a like and a subscribe if you liked what you saw and you want to see me make more videos like this in the future. But until then, I'll see you all later.